We are getting new economic data this morning. The producer price index ticked up slightly. The 0.1% increase from last month was nominal. It means prices were up 2.6% from this time last year. And joining me now in Studio 55 to break things down for us is CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. So Kelly, break this down for us. What does this report tell us?
Okay, so some good news and bad news. What I would say is the good news is this was less than expected. It's very similar to what we saw yesterday with the consumer price index. We expected to see a little bit more of a jump. Same thing with these producer prices today. We only got, as you mentioned, an increase of 0.1%. The bad news is that last month, the previous report, we saw a decrease. We saw prices actually go down 0.2%. So that gap is pretty significant. But analysts, businesses that I'm talking to are taking heart in this, that you aren't seeing a huge jump with all of these tariff impacts that we've been talking about. And we talk about the producer prices because when things cost more for businesses to make, that means that they're going to pass that on to you and me. So when you think about what we might see in next month consumer price index, it's probably not going to be a huge increase because this is kind of the canary in the coal mine if we are going to see higher inflation.
And those tariffs that you mentioned, leading to a lot of economic uncertainty for businesses all over the U.S. We've been experiencing that. It's not happening in a vacuum. There are world events that are having a major impact as well, particularly today. Explain the potential impact of these things, like this new threat of a conflict between Iran and Israel, and even that deadly plane crash in India.
So the plane crash, these often are very terrible, but one-off incidents. You might see people a little bit more concerned to fly, but we haven't seen a huge impact from these types of things in the past when it comes to people traveling here and there. The Israel-Iran conflict or potential conflict, this is something where you start to think about oil prices. And we have seen just over the past day or so, oil prices spike, come back down as investors are thinking about, wow, if we have a conflict in the region, what does that region produce a lot of? Oil. And then you go back to something like the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. There were also concerns about trade and access to payment systems as different countries put sanctions on Russia, something that could happen with Iran as well, increase some of those sanctions. So there's a lot of economic activity right now. It's just sort of a wait and see, and you see some of that concern reflected in those oil prices.
And it's important to note that with all of these global events, there is always, or almost always, an economic impact.
Always.
A thread to follow. Kelly O'Grady, we appreciate your time. Thank you.